Have you ever tried to genuinely sit down and mathematically comprehend what $1 trillion actually looks like in the real physical world? If you somehow magically managed to spend $1 million every single day since the year zero, it would still take you almost 3,000 years to completely spend a single $1 trillion. It is a number so incredibly massive, so unbelievably vast, that the everyday human brain completely struggles to even process it or make any logical sense of it. And yet earlier this summer, one single individual human being actually crossed that completely impossible mathematical threshold. You have probably seen the massive viral headlines floating around social media claiming that Elon Musk is currently sitting on a completely mind-blowing $1.05 trillion. But today, we're going to look completely behind the digital curtain and gently expose the absolute fascinating, terrifying reality of modern extreme global wealth. Because the absolute honest truth is that the richest man in the entire documented history of human civilization does not actually have a massive physical swimming pool filled with gold coins like a cartoon character, and the massive digital wealth he holds is so incredibly mathematically fragile that he recently lost over $80 billion in a single afternoon without ever leaving his desk. Welcome back to Money's Hidden Past, where we always look past the complicated Wall Street jargon and figure out how the global economy really actually works in our everyday lives. Today, we are looking very closely at the absolute richest person on the planet right now, Elon Musk. And we are going to gently break down exactly how modern billionaires actually store their incredible wealth and why the concept of a trillionaire is both a massive technological triumph and a wild financial illusion. We will explore his massive unyielding ownership stakes in world-changing companies like SpaceX, Tesla, and XAI, and we will deeply explain exactly why his completely mind-boggling net worth is currently violently swinging by hundreds of billions of dollars right now in August of 2026. But before we jump into the fascinating economics and explore this wild digital world together, please do me a huge favor and hit that subscribe button right now. Leave a friendly comment down below, and let me know if you truly think any single human being should ever hold $1 trillion in wealth, or if you think that level of capital is completely dangerous. Your support truly means the world to me, and it helps this video reach more everyday hardworking people who might find this honest historical conversation helpful and eye-opening. Let us start by gently completely correcting a very common massive misconception that is currently heavily floating around the internet. Many everyday exhausted working class people are completely convinced that Elon Musk is currently sitting on over $1 trillion in liquid spending cash. Right this very second. It is absolutely true that back on June 12, 2026, he mathematically became the absolute first human being in documented history to cross the $1 trillion mark. This completely historic milestone happened immediately following the highly anticipated and absolutely massive initial public offering of his aerospace company SpaceX for a brief, shining, incredibly chaotic moment. His personal net worth peaked at around $1.4 trillion as the global financial markets completely lost their minds. But modern extreme wealth is completely fundamentally tied to the highly emotional and incredibly volatile global stock market. And as of August 2026, his net worth has violently crashed back down, slipping well below the $1 trillion mark to roughly $700 billion. In fact, just a few days ago, he lost a staggering $87 billion in one single chaotic trading session, when SpaceX stock took a massive hit after their very first public earnings report. But even after suffering the absolute largest mathematically documented loss of personal wealth in the entire history of human civilization, he is still completely miles ahead of anyone else on the planet as the undisputed richest person in the world. So how does a single human being actually mathematically hold $700 billion in the modern digital economy? The most incredibly important thing to completely understand about the ultra-wealthy elite class is that they absolutely do not keep their money in a massive traditional checking account at the local commercial bank. Elon Musk cannot simply walk up to a physical automated teller machine on the corner and withdraw $1 billion to buy groceries or pay for a massive luxury yacht. His absolute staggering wealth is almost entirely legally tied up in his direct equity ownership stakes of 3 massive world-changing corporate entities. And the first and absolute most important piece of this massive, highly complex financial puzzle is an aerospace company called SpaceX. For over 2 long decades, SpaceX was a completely private, unlisted company quietly building revolutionary reusable rockets and slowly, systematically launching thousands of Starlink internet satellites into the global low Earth orbit. Musk completely controlled the massive company and held a massive equity stake that was entirely hidden from the daily chaotic swings of the public retail stock market. But earlier this summer, that completely fundamentally changed when SpaceX officially went public and aggressively debuted on the global stock market. The massive public offering completely violently revalued the entire aerospace company, and the global financial markets aggressively decided it was worth nearly $2 trillion. Because Elon Musk officially owns roughly 38 to 42% of the entire massive company, this single digital asset instantly became the absolute largest driving engine of his incredible net worth, completely overtaking his wealth from electric vehicles. SpaceX is absolutely not just a fun little experimental company that shoots cool-looking rockets into space for the internet to watch. It is a massive, vertically integrated aerospace manufacturer that completely dominates the entire global launch market for massive government contracts and commercial satellites. And arguably, even more importantly, it actively operates Starlink, which is rapidly mathematically becoming the absolute dominant global provider of satellite internet for the entire human race. They are quite literally physically building the foundational communication infrastructure of the future digital economy entirely in low Earth orbit. And the global financial markets are aggressively mathematically betting that whoever completely controls the unyielding internet infrastructure of space will eventually completely control the massive flow of global human information. But SpaceX is absolutely only one massive pillar of his incredible interconnected digital empire. The second massive engine of his unyielding wealth is completely tied to a highly visible company you see on the physical public roads every single day of your life, which is Tesla. For many years, Tesla was the absolute primary reason Elon Musk was consistently ranked as the richest person in the world. But to truly deeply understand the massive valuation of Tesla, you have to completely stop thinking about them as a traditional legacy car company like Ford or General Motors. The brilliant analysts on Wall Street absolutely do not value Tesla, simply based on how many physical electric vehicles they successfully manufacture and sell to everyday consumers. They actively value Tesla as a massive, highly advanced technology, robotics, and global energy company. Beyond just building beautifully designed electric cars, Tesla is completely deeply invested in massive global energy storage solutions. They are actively building huge physical battery farms all over the planet, completely designed to mathematically stabilize the global electrical grid, and they are aggressively pushing the absolute extreme boundaries of artificial intelligence through their autonomous full self-driving software and their highly advanced development of humanoid robotics. The massive global financial markets are completely aggressively betting that Tesla will eventually successfully solve real-world physical artificial intelligence, turning millions of physical electric cars into a massive globally connected fleet of automated robotaxis that completely replace human drivers. Musk holds a massive percentage of Tesla stock, and his highly controversial, completely unprecedented corporate pay packages have repeatedly rewarded him with billions of dollars worth of additional equity whenever the massive company hits seemingly impossible financial milestones. And the third major structural pillar of this completely unprecedented global wealth empire is a brand new, highly aggressive company, officially called XAI in the modern, incredibly fast-paced digital economy. Artificial intelligence is the absolute ultimate global gold rush. Every single massive tech conglomerate on the planet, from Google to Microsoft, is completely desperate to build the absolute most powerful, predictive behavioral algorithms. Musk specifically founded XAI to directly, actively, aggressively compete with massive, deeply entrenched organizations like OpenAI, and earlier this year, SpaceX actually completely acquired XAI in a massive, stunning corporate deal that mathematically valued the combined massive company at over $1.25 trillion. By completely merging his artificial intelligence ambitions with his massive global aerospace infrastructure, Musk is actively trying to mathematically build the absolute ultimate modern technological monopoly. He is carefully creating a massive, deeply interconnected corporate ecosystem where artificial intelligence analyzes global data. Satellite networks instantly distribute that data across the entire planet, and autonomous physical robots seamlessly interact with the real physical world. When you completely patiently step back and deeply look at the actual mathematical reality of this entire sprawling corporate empire, it fundamentally changes the way you view extreme wealth. Elon Musk is the absolute richest person in the world? Absolutely. Not because he secretly hoards physical gold in a vault or simply extracts monthly rent from a massive traditional real estate empire. He is the absolute richest person in the world because he actively, mathematically, physically owns the foundational technological infrastructure of the future human economy. He owns the massive reusable rockets, he owns the global satellite internet, he owns the automated electric energy grid, and he owns the powerful artificial intelligence engines. His massive, unyielding, extreme wealth is simply a pure mathematical reflection of how much absolute structural economic control he has over the physical and digital future of human civilization. But this incredibly massive wealth is also completely, deeply, incredibly vulnerable to the messy, terrifying, unyielding reality of the open free market, When a massive company like SpaceX misses a single quarterly earnings report because they spent a few extra $1 billion building out artificial intelligence infrastructure, the market can instantly, violently, completely erase roughly $87 billion from his personal net worth in a matter of a few stressful hours. It is a massive, incredibly high-stakes digital financial roller coaster where the absolute numbers flashing on the glowing screen are so incredibly large, they almost completely lose all genuine physical meaning to the average everyday human being. The modern billionaire or trillionaire is completely structurally, mathematically different from the wealthy historical corporate titans of the past. When the famous John D. Rockefeller became the absolute first American billionaire over a century ago, in the early 1900s, his immense historical wealth was completely firmly tied to physical barrels of crude oil and massive heavy steel refineries. It was a completely tangible, dirty physical fortune, meticulously built on the heavy physical infrastructure of the industrial age, where you could actually touch the things that made you rich. But the modern digital mega-billionaire is completely, entirely different. Their massive, unfathomable wealth is almost entirely digital, existing only as microscopic digital data points on massive interconnected corporate ledgers, securely stored in highly guarded server farms. It is an absolute, beautifully complex, incredibly fragile mathematical illusion that only actively exists because millions of everyday global investors and massive institutional banks completely firmly believe in the specific long-term vision of one single deeply flawed human being. So the absolute next time you casually scroll through your social media feed and see a massive viral flashy headline talking about the completely unimaginable wealth of Elon Musk, or read a completely wild internet rumor about how much actual physical cash he currently has in his pocket, just gently take a deep breath. And remember that his massive global fortune is completely mathematically, legally locked inside the massive technological machines that are actively, aggressively building the future of the internet and space travel. He absolutely cannot just easily walk away with $1 trillion physical dollars, pack his bags, and buy a massive, beautiful tropical island to quietly hide on for the rest of his life. His immense wealth is actively, constantly working, fighting highly aggressive global market forces and violently swinging up and down by tens of billions of dollars every single calendar day, based purely on how the global financial market emotionally feels about his absolute latest massive technological project. It is the absolute ultimate pure expression of modern unbridled digital capitalism. A completely breathtaking, slightly terrifying, and deeply incredibly fascinating financial reality, where human wealth is absolutely no longer measured by the heavy physical gold you can hold in your hand, but by the absolute unyielding mathematical scale of your global corporate ambition. If you found this incredibly friendly and completely honest look at the incredible hidden economics of extreme global wealth truly helpful, and if it gently gave you a much better deep understanding of how the absolute richest people on the entire planet actually physically structure their massive digital fortunes, behind closed doors, please do me a massive physical favor and hit that like button, right this absolute second. It really, truly helps this independent channel grow and lets the completely automated algorithm politely know that these honest, thoughtful, historical conversations really deeply matter to hardworking everyday people exactly like you. Share this video with a close friend who loves advanced technology or complex economics, or maybe someone who is just genuinely deeply curious about how one single ordinary human being can actually mathematically be worth hundreds of billions of digital dollars. We are going to absolutely keep looking deeply into the fascinating, highly hidden stories behind global money modern technology and how they constantly, secretly affect our everyday daily lives without us even noticing. And I absolutely, truly cannot wait to excitedly share the next interesting historical chapter with you. Until next time, remember to always deeply take care of yourselves, and definitely kindly take care of each other. Stay incredibly curious, ask really good tough questions, and always firmly remember that true global financial wealth is almost never exactly what the massive flashy internet headlines desperately want you to blindly believe. Thank you so much for graciously spending your highly valuable time with me today, and I will absolutely beautifully see you in the next video.